my friends, thank you so much for joining me today. I am barefaced except self-tanned, and I thought in this video I could show you and apply the stuff that I got from the Sephora sale. I could have shared like what's in my cart before it ever came, but it shipped quickly, the sale is still happening, and I thought it's much more informative for me to actually show you what I did get. One thing I got is a fresh new beauty blender. This is all dampened and ready to go for today, so isn't that beautiful? It's kind of like my little retaliation because I tried a sponge that was supposed to be just like a beauty blender and it was not, and so I went back. Also, while I was browsing that section of Sephora, I noticed they had beauty blender bounce blushes, which I didn't even know they made a cream blush, but I'm really into trying too many cream blushes these days, so I got one. It's in the shade Cheeky Pink Liquid Whip Cream Blush. I probably won't end up using this today because of some other things that I have, but you know, feels nice, looks like a nice little shade there, so I'm excited to try that in the near future. Also, there are new cheek palettes from One Size, so I got one of the Bronze and Sculpt ones and one of the 3D blush trios, and then I also got the new Fenty Sun Stalk'r palette. This would have been in my palette discussion video, but I didn't even know about it, and then suddenly here it is. They say face and eye bronzer highlighter palette, so I thought I might even use that on the eyes today. And then I got one of these cool swirled liquid balms from Givenchy. Look how beautiful this is, you guys. Oh my gosh. I swear I had something at one time from Bonnie Bell that was a swirled lip gloss type thing, and I hope this is like that but better. Okay, so let's get started. I don't have like a brand new foundation from this haul, which is great because I got too many foundations to be working with. I'm going to use my LYS today, my Triple Fix in the shade MP3, and get about a pump-ish of this out. And this one runs just slightly dark, so I think it's going to be perfect for my self-tanned face. How do you self-tan your face, Em? Well, I used those drops, those, not Sol de Janeiro. Oh, come on. You know, the little drops that you can mix into a moisturizer. Sorry, the name is escaping me, but I have them in the shade medium. I just hadn't used them in a long time. Like, I kind of went all winter just being a little hibernating bear and not changing my color at all. Isle of Paradise. Isle of Paradise is what they are. And I just mix that into my nighttime moisturizer, so that's my e.l.f. Holy Hydration, and put it on all over. I could even tell the tan developing before the men's national championship was over with last night. Kansas won, and I don't think anybody picked them in our bracket challenge, but my bracket was busted long ago. Isn't this pretty? This is just one of those really pretty looking foundations. You know, you get it on, you're like, wow, I'm so radiant. And the new beauty blender's so nice too. It's so bright. I really use my beauty blenders a while before I throw them out. For concealer, I'm just going to use my LYS Triple Fix Concealer as well. This is in LP4. They call this Full Coverage Brightening Concealer. I don't see it as really the fullest coverage that I have. I think it's decent coverage. I think it makes a nice kind of everyday concealer, but I don't think it's like, wow. You'll see. You'll see. It'll do some things, but it won't do maybe every single thing. I'll just continue on with my beauty blender to blend this puppy in. I mean, it will brighten. It's not bad, and it also feels really nice to where you don't feel unnaturally like dry in the under eye. And my skin as a whole, like just these last couple days, I've noticed, oh, it seems a little dry, like noticing that late in the day as opposed to oiliness. So that's another reason why I thought these products might be really good today. I had something in my eye, and now I feel like I need to go in and add more concealer because I kind of rubbed some away. Oops. I had a migraine Saturday night. As always, unwanted, unwelcome. And Sunday, you know, you kind of have the next day, at least when I get migraines, this might not be this way for everyone, but the following day I can feel like kind of a dull pain from it, like, you know, no sudden movements, even or if I were to cough, you know, just the strain of that cough would make my head hurt a little bit, even though I'm not in, you know, that nonstop throbbing migraine pain. But Sunday went on to be a pretty decent day. I got a lot of things done. I didn't feel terrible, but I just had this awareness of, you know, you've just had a migraine, so be gentle. And then yesterday, Monday, I really didn't feel that good either. I felt kind of like groggy and tired, and just like my body was exhausted from it. I don't know, but I had this like just kind of dull ache in my head on the other side, and so during nap time I like took an ibuprofen, just laid on the couch, and did feel a little better once I got up from that, and even better yet by evening after eating dinner. But there were two things that I kind of noticed in thinking about, and I'm going to use this Fenty powder, by the way. This is not new. This is the Pro Filter powder in lavender, and I'm just kind of been getting into it a lot lately. It's very brightening, and I really do like it. It has a nice little protector for the sifter here, so that if you were traveling with it, it won't all flood out. But I just tap a little into the cap. That's your heads up on what I'm using here. But when I have a migraine, I try to think about what kind of signal that is sending me, you know, like where am I lacking? And I was like drinking even more water in the past. Like I was drinking my Hydromate jug or whatever it's called. I was drinking that up and then usually filling it a second time and drinking most of that. And I'd kind of stopped filling it a second time and just being content with drinking most of my, you know, like half-gallon amount. So there was that, and also just the quality of my sleep has not been as good lately. Bub's had some knee issues, and I feel like if he gets up uncomfortable in the night and goes out to the recliner, like I wake up and then sometimes I have trouble getting back to sleep. And that had been happening for the last couple weeks. So I'm like, I just need to, you know, not worry about him. It's every man for himself at nighttime. I just need to try to stay asleep. And I really have been these last couple nights, and I'm feeling pretty refreshed this morning. So that's the happy ending to that story, is that I'm up here on a Tuesday morning now. I'm feeling quite a bit better today. And yeah, I shot that dupes video yesterday. Waking right up, not feeling that bad, but the day kind of got progressively worse and then sort of got better. I'm sometimes a set your mind to it person to a fault. Like I'll decide I'm going to shoot a video on a certain day and I will absolutely do it. You know, like I don't kind of wait and see how I feel. I'll more so just say that's when I'm going to do it, you know. Some of that might come from just like living the normal job life, like back in the news where it's like, this is your duty for the day. But anyways, let's talk about this makeup right now. The LYS foundation and concealer, which like I said about the concealer, it could cover more. It's kind of like, I don't know if you call it an everyday concealer, you know, just something that's sort of more casual. It's not as serious as some of the other more full coverage concealers, but it looks pretty on the skin. It has a pretty finish. And I, of course, really enjoy the LYS foundation. To me, it does give you that hydration and a little added juice. I would say I end up with a little more coverage out of the revealer from Kosas, but I really do like that Fenty loose powder. It's kind of fun. It's very, very brightening because it's lavender. So now I want to move on to this Fenty Stalk'r Face and Eye Bronzer Palette, which I think sounds like a great fun idea, especially for people like me who like a matte eye look. You know, you could use this or, you know, add a little shimmer. This is what it looks like. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tones of matte, like kind of bronzy contour stuff, and 2 shimmery type shades over here. Nice big mirror. It's gonna get loads of fingerprints on it over here, but I don't care. I'm excited to try this. Where to begin? I think I'm gonna go like to this middle shade right here. Right in the center. Oh, I recognize some of these names like India Sun, Private Island, Caramel Cutie, Cocoa Naughty, and Thick Mint. Those are the names going all the way down of these shades. And then Fat Glass is this one, and Gold Card is this. Anyway, I'm taking that rain alert. It's gonna rain. I'm gonna have a rainy week. So this is the middle shade that I'm using to bronze up. This seems really warm. Not like in a bad way, but just I'm going to try going to the next shade deeper. The first one I used was Caramel Cutie. This is Cocoa Naughty. Did anyone else get this? Did anybody else see this coming? Because I didn't. I was just like, oop, I really want that. I had already gotten my Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base vat, so I didn't need to get that in the sale. I'm using that same deeper color, second deepest. And I jumped the gun on the Wild Greens palette from Urban Decay. I got that from Ulta. Probably should have waited. Definitely seeing the sculpting action here. I'm kind of wanting to maybe go over some of what I've just done on the cheeks with this shade. This is the one called Private Island. Is that the one I have in an individual? Yeah, that's the one I have in a single. Private Island, the second one. Good bronzer, I like it. Not my most fave ever, but kind of just using that to blend around. I'm not used to my skin tone being this dark. And then we'll just dab between a couple of those and take it down. And this will have to get played with another day, but this is what my Patrick Star compact looks like. This is the Made for Shade Bronze and Sculpt Trio. This is the medium trio, so we'll have to bust this out on another day, but so you know, that's there. Oh, and you know what I meant to do, because someone was so raving on this on TikTok, and it is a great powder. But I was going to take a little bit of my One Size powder, the powder foundation, and just kind of dab on top right in here where I want the most coverage. Yeah, that is a really nice powder, I must say. Great coverage. So I don't know, is my contour done? How do I feel about this? I'm not like, oh my gosh, jumping up and down. I mean, it's a nice little bronzer contour selection. I think it's looking good on my skin. I'm not going crazy just yet, but I do want to use this on the eyes and see how that goes. Meanwhile, from One Size, I will be using the little blush palette. This is the Cheek Clapper 3D Blush Trio in Very That. I mean, the compact is so chunky. Like, I love the size. You have a little window to lift up for your cream blush. Okay, so the cream blush is up top, then it looks like powder blush, and then kind of a glowy blush highlight type thing. So I'm going to go into that cream first with my little Sephora 56, and several shades were sold out when I was shopping for this, but I was also in kind of a feeling where they all looked good, so I didn't really mind what I ended up with. I just wanted to try it. Okay, there's that cheek color, the cream one all over. Let's do some more. It's a pretty kind of like soft, warm pink, almost looking peachy. I'm such a sucker for all this cheek stuff. As you can see, most of my haul was cheek related. Contour, face, whatever. Okay, so there's that cream blush blended all over. It blended really easily. The texture is pretty standard for a cream blush. It doesn't feel like it's going straight cream to powder, but it has a nice thinness that kind of happens as it blends out, so you don't feel like it's resisting the blend. It's a little easier to blend than the Tower 28, even though I love that one. It's a little easier to blend out than that. And then I'm gonna shut my window. Thank you so much for the window. And I'm gonna go to some of this powder shade. Okay, I could see that going on the skin, although it is a soft color. We're talking kind of like peachy baby cheek type look here. I'm gonna go straight over the nose with it. That's pretty. That's really pretty. Yes, I'm happy with that. Then what happens if we take some of this just on top? Oh, okay, nice. Peachy, kind of golden peach sheen is what that is. Pretty. I was thinking of it more as a blush topper than a pure highlight. That's why I kind of went for it right down here. That's really pretty. I'm very proud of my cheeks right now. They look good. Okay, this brand is so good. I love so many things from One Size. Then I want to go back here to this and use that light shimmery shade as a highlight. All I needed for this video is just a couple more sets of cheeks. Okay, right here. Well, that's pretty. This is the lighter of the two. You can see one shade's kind of golden, and then there's this really light champagne-y one. Pretty. I'm enjoying that very much. I feel so glowy and I'm into it. After having kind of like a dry skin feeling couple days, I'm ready to look like a glazed donut. And then I'm going to use my Catrice Prime and Fine Illuminating Mist. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Next up, I'm just going to fill in my brows. I'll use my new Give by Gwen Stefani eyebrow pencil. This is the fine tipped one. I really do like it. Shade 4. Works well, but not anything like you would have to specifically get from Sephora to get the look. You know, I think you could come up with a good fine brow pencil from the drugstore for sure. NYX, L'Oreal, CoverGirl. There's that rain that I was alerted about. The other hard thing about migraines is, like, the day or two after you have them, walking around wondering if you're starting to get one again. Because, again, they don't always take off with just, like, head pain and you know it's a headache. Like, there's these other symptoms that tell you you're getting a migraine, and I mean, for me, they really are debilitating. As soon as I know I'm having one, I have to go lay down. And do you guys remember, like, early on in 2020, I had a string of migraines. Like, I was getting them every couple days. It was just awful. And I think part of my problem too was I was obsessed about having migraines, and I kept like thinking and wondering when is the next one going to happen, which is understandable. But like, part of my freedom from that situation, I think, came when I stopped getting so worried about when I was going to have one. And I noticed myself like having periods of time where I completely forgot about the thought of having a migraine. You know, like I kind of let go. And I haven't been in some big string of migraines lately. Don't worry about me. But I will get them now and then. And it's hard when you come off of one to not be worried about, am I having another? Because they're just so unpleasant. You fear them, you know. That's NYX Control Freak brow gel there. And then I'm going to prime my lids. And we're going to try out that Fenty palette as an eyeshadow. Milani. I kind of felt like when I was bronzing / contouring my skin, like I didn't quite know what to do with my self-tanned face. I don't know if the self-tanned face was showing as much on camera as it is in person, because I'm a little, ever so slightly washed out on the camera, but like, it just felt weird putting contour on because of like, my skin is already kind of bronzy. What do I do? So they do call this Stalk'r Face and Eye Bronzer and Highlighter Palette, which we've turned lots of face palettes into eye palettes without the palette's permission, but I'm just letting you know they are kind of marketing this as both. I want to see what this shade is like just getting going in the crease. I want to see if that, yeah, it's just a little darker maybe than you might think. A little light crease contour. But by really selling it as a face and eye palette, it's smart because that's how multiple skin tones get use out of this, you know? That's how the person who would never need to use this shade as a face contour now uses it as an eyeshadow, or the person who would never go for this one on the face, that becomes their eyeshadow, you know, along with everything else. I'm gonna go a shade deeper now to Private Island. Is anybody interested in a Fenty full face? I really have tried some good things from this brand. I've tried some kind of non-essential, sort of not so great things too, so that's why it might be informative. I got a sheet crease going like right in here. I can see it kind of. Okay, so there's our lightest 2 shades of bronzer kind of coming into the crease. Now let's just, you know, go for the gradient. These are pretty tones on my eyes. I like this for brown eyes. And then we're going to go one deeper, and then I'm going to start putting some of that dark shade on my lid. I'm liking this. This is easy because these shades I feel are a little less like whoosh with pigment than a standard eyeshadow, but they're going on just really effortlessly. So now to the deeper color, patting that on, flat brush. Nice, that looks pretty. Okay, I'm gonna get a little bit of that into my crease too, and then we can start a little blending there as well. Blend with that original crease brush. Kind of funny, the skin is so glowy and the eyes are matte, but just wait, we're gonna use this kind of golden color right here. That's gonna come out to play on the lid. Yes, we've officially used everything in this palette today. Oh, it's fun to play with new makeup. It's also fun to rediscover what you got. That's so pretty. Completely legit eyeshadow palette. Lovely, lovely. And then we can spotlight inner corner with that lightest bit right there. Boop, boop, boop. I'm kind of wanting a little more shape, so here's small tapered brush coming into the darkest shade. I love it. I love that look on the eyes, those tones. Not that you would have to run out and get this palette, but like just the warm matte browns. They're in a lot of places, so just think about it. I'm just taking a little bit of my deep shade super duper lightly with the small pointed brush. Under the eye, my hair needs to be washed. Across my upper lash line, I'm thinking I'm not going to do like a real fussy look today. I'm just going to take my Cocoa Caviar Stick from Laura Mercier, which I already had, and I'm just going to nice and easy does it style take that across my upper lash line. Kind of smudging it a little bit on the inner part, but like that's the easiest liner. You do this on the lower lash line too. I might do just a little of that as well. I also really like doing this with the shade Plum. Next up, I'm going to do some mascara. I'm going to use Cali Ray Come Hell or High Water today, because we may have some high water today. What is the forecast? I mean, it just rained like crazy a second ago. Wait a minute. Sephora just comes in with a notification that says, treat yourself. I just did. Come on now. Love this little brush. Oh, it's going to become partly cloudy after some morning rain. So what are you more likely to get from this sale? Are you more likely to just be in stock up mode, like restock favorites that you know you like? Or do you see this more as your time to try new things? I kind of wish they could give a better heads up on it. Like, you know it's coming, but a little bit more of a mark your calendars thing. Couple weeks out. But no, they want people to be buying and buying and buying and kind of forget that there's a sale coming and then, oops, I need more. It's precisely what they want to happen. So I got my mascara on and I'm just adding a little bit of this second bronzer shade. I felt the need to sort of pull out from my look a little bit. And I'm also feeling just like wanting to take a little bit of powder on top here. Like maybe I've gone a little far perhaps with highlighting. No big deal. I'm just getting a tiny bit of the Fenty loose powder on my brush. I'm just going to kind of dab over this zone. I still feel glowy, but it's a little more under control. This is so beautiful. This Givenchy, what's it actually called? Rose Perfecto Liquid Balm. It's got like, it almost feels like a faux leather kind of thing happening around the cap, and then look at that swirl. Purchased purely for nostalgic reasons because, ooh, and I think it's a glass, actual glass tube. This reminds me so much of something I got from Bonnie Bell that was all swirled like that when I was in probably junior high. Ooh, it smells nice. It's a nice kind of like perfumed, almost, yeah, maybe I do sense some rose in the scent. And I got this in the shade Chilling Brown. I thought it would be a real like dusty rose color, and that's proving to be true. Kind of a Your Lips But Better shade. I can't get over how like perfumey the scent is, not fruity. It is sheer. I'm feeling just a little bit of a cooling feel to my lips right now. They say the liquid lip balm that enhances the natural glow of your lips, 24-hour hydration, immediate plumping effect, soothed and moisturized lips day after day. I mean, I think this could be really pretty paired maybe with some different lip liners if you want to have more color. This particular shade definitely does feel like it's enhancing my natural lip color. It's smooth, it's kind of thick, not at all sticky, and that cooling sensation is probably like an eighth of what I feel after putting on a Buxom lip gloss, just for your reference. But it feels fancy and I do like it. It's going to take some continued use for me to completely determine whether this was worth it. But right now, yeah, it makes me happy. So this was my look today, everyone. I really wish I could have tried everything like both of the Patrick Star palettes, but I couldn't have worked that in with the Fenty palette. This was kind of the star of the show because this is on both cheeks and on the eyes, and I really did like the way it multitasked. It's mostly matte with a couple of shimmery pops. I mean, I do think it's a pretty versatile palette, especially if you like wearing a decent amount of matte on the eyes, and this kind of color scheme really appeals to you. And as you can see, as far as bronzers go, I could easily bounce between a lot of these different shades, particularly like the middle three, as far as what I used on my skin. You know, you don't have to feel like, oh, well, that one shade is my shade for that. You can use multiple shades and blend them and, you know, apply a little bit of the lighter shade to maybe dust over top. Or that one shade was really pretty as a highlighter, I thought. So I am glad I tried this. I thought this one size blush palette was beautiful. I love how they combined three totally different things: a cream blush, a powder blush, and like this glowy blush topper slash highlight kind of thing. This is probably my favorite thing that I got outside of, you know, the classic beauty blender that I can always use. To be continued on this, and I think you're going to continue to see this Fenty palette worked into more looks. I'm going to keep playing with it and trying it. Personally, and maybe some of you guys can relate to this, like I get in different moods with bronzer and contour. Sometimes I like to go for a palette where I can just, you know, kind of play with different shades and combine different colors, and other times it's like, just pull out Wet n Wild Wet Shady Beaches and that's all I want to be dealing with. But I do feel that given how dark this palette can go, the full range in here does make it a very satisfying eye palette as well. Like if it only went that dark, let's say, and they're like face and eye palette, it would be a little bit harder for me to accept that. But given all that range, I can get an eye look that I'm completely satisfied with, and I like that. So thank you guys so much for your time today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you've got or what you're thinking about from the Sephora sale in the comments section below, and I will see you again very soon. I love you. Bye.